please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
Good morning and welcome to Power Breakfast in the Mumbai News Centre. I am Anisha Jain and with me is Mangalam Malu. Well, Mangalam, good morning. The week for the Indian markets has started on a bit of feeble note. It is the expiry week. The bulls tried to stage a comeback in the second half of the day, but nonetheless, the Sensex and the Nifty down below the 100-day moving average. And the interesting point that you were mentioning yesterday, the FIIs, now a net seller for 2018.
Absolutely. Anisha, they say the sooner they come, the sooner they go. In all of January, we thought, the FIIs are back. They pumped in close to around 9600 crore rupees. Come February and they started selling. They've been selling at 12-13 sessions in a row on a trot. Actually more than that if I'm not mistaken. And now they're net sellers to the tune of 388 crores. So we'll watch out for that. But I take your point, we're below that 100-day moving average. But the last tick was above that 100-day moving average. So let's see how that goes. Yesterday back home on Dalal Street, a last hour short covering rally saw the markets trim losses. Yet the Nifty as well as the Sensex closed below the 100-day moving average. Nifty, in fact, gave up the 10,400 mark. The Sensex lost more than 200 points in the trade yesterday. Midcaps underperformed with cuts of more than 1%. Banks managed to hold above that 25,000 mark, but what are the cues lined up for today? Well, Anisha, for starters, the SGX Nifty indicates a 20-point downtick, though it's been unreliable lately. What's your view?
Well, yes, it looks like it's going to be a bit of weak start. Let's see how the day ends, because we have seen the last sort of trade being really important of late. But other than that, if you see the expiry week, of course, has started on a bit of jittery note, as you were mentioning. The Sensex as well as the Nifty slipped below the 100-day moving average yesterday. The Nifty below the 10,400 mark. There was, of course, a late pullback that we saw in trade, but nonetheless, it is the Nifty PSU bank that is adding a lot of pressure to the markets. That index closed 2.5% lower, despite the 2% recovery that we saw in that index yesterday. In fact, that is the key space to watch out for today. Of course, regarding the PNB fraud, we have been hearing a lot. Let's see whether how that particular index reacts today, because we have been now hearing murmurs from experts that maybe it is a good buying level. Now, let's see if that buying emerges or not. Other than that, the global cues remain thin, because, of course, remember we were discussing that the US markets yesterday were shut on account of President's Day. Other than that, the European markets closed 0.5% to 0.6% lower. There as well, the volumes were lower, as you were mentioning earlier, Mangalam. So not much of cues coming as far as the global market is concerned. As far as Asia is concerned, well, as you were mentioning, the SGX Nifty is suggesting open below the 10,350 mark. The Nikkei yesterday was up around 2%. Today seeing a bit of, a cut on that one, down about 1%. The Kospi as well as Straits trading down about 0.3 or 0.6%. Other than that, if you're looking for domestic cues, well, there's a cabinet meet today, live at 10:30 a.m. today. There is going to be some discussions about some financial institutions as well as you remember PM Modi is going to speak at an agro summit later in the day, so maybe that space remains active today. Other than that, it is expiry week. It is expected to remain volatile, because remember in the month of February itself, for the Nifty we're down about 5.9%, Nifty Bank down about over 8%. Of course, the Nifty PSU Bank is what is adding pressure, down about 15.5%. There's a NASSCOM leadership forum is also happening in Hyderabad. There is a strategic review that is expected around noon, so IT stocks may be in focus on account of that. Other than that, the interesting bit that you were mentioning about FII earnings net seller, yesterday sold about 900 crores. DIs did try to pump in 600 odd crores, but net they are around 400 crore net sellers for 2018 as of now, Mangalam.
All right, Anisha, fair point there. So what are the stocks that you're watching out for in trade today?
Well, first up, we have PNB and the PSU banks that have been in focus all through the week. Other than that, M&M is looking to invest 500 crores for electric vehicle and components. We have been hearing a lot about that. So finally, some investment coming in that space. Kaya Limited, where Equity Intelligence has bought around 0.1% of the share capital, so might remain in focus. Fortis Healthcare, that will be one important stock to watch out today, because we understand that RK Damani's Derive Investment has bought around 26 lakh shares in the company at 144.5. Some other news as well, with the promoters holding falling to around 8% after the pledge shares have been invoked. Other than that, on Relegate, there has been an issue of warrants for preferential issues by issuing 17.5 crore warrants at the rate of 52.2 each. The stock is trading currently at around 63 rupee level, so that will be interesting as well. For Tata Bar, we have been hearing a lot about restructuring, reorganization, etc., and that is what the shareholder note has come for. This is something the street already knew about, restructuring of the renewable business, but now they have got the shareholders note for a lot of their businesses. Other than that, for Canara Bank as well as Vijaya Bank, the government has appointed new executive directors. Sun Pharma, well, their wholly owned subsidiary has bought additional shares in Baxi Malaysia. That will be in focus. Godavari Power and Ispat, there is a small amalgamation with Jagdamba Power and Alloys. They'll be getting 25 megawatt captive power plant. Not major for the company, but nonetheless might be in focus. Indicate Trust, they have invested in the transmission asset of Techno Electric and Engineering Company. So both these companies will remain in focus. The amount is 230 odd crores, not too big, but still will be in focus. Lastly, results today, Ambuja Cement and Mahindra CIE. So these two companies are watch out for. Well, while the government and various regulatory bodies deal with the administrative and regulatory fallout of the 11,000 crore rupee fraud at Punjab National Bank, investigative agencies have been busy digging deeper into the mechanics of the fraud and the money trail involved. Here is a status check on the investigative action that took place yesterday.
This is the Brady House branch of Punjab National Bank, which is at the center of the 11,400 crore rupee fraud that came to light in mid-February. This has now been sealed by the CBI as part of its ongoing investigation into the fraud. But the CBI is not the only investigative agency that's busy following the money trail and unearthing evidence pertaining to the fraud. The Enforcement Directorate, which is conducting an independent parallel investigation, has been busy conducting search and seizure operations at various locations across the country since the fraud first came to light. On the 16th of February, a written report from the Ministry of Finance to the Prime Minister's office, which CNBC TV18 saw, said that the Enforcement Directorate had, over the preceding 48 hours, conducted search operations at 52 locations across 11 states. In the course of these operations, ED officials seized movable property, including jewelry, totaling over 5,600 crore rupees. These operations continued through the weekend and are still ongoing. So Monday, the 19th of February, marks the 5th day of search and seizure operations.
Well, sources tell us that on the 5th day of its investigations, the Enforcement Directorate continued the search and seizure operations at 39 locations across India in the cases of Nirav Modi, Mehul Choksi, Gitanjali Gems and other Nirav Modi's companies. Well, with today's investigations and seizures, the ED today seized assets worth 22 crore rupees, which takes the total to about 5,716 crore rupees worth of total seizure.
The Revenue Department, meanwhile, has been conducting its own parallel investigation. Sources say the department has detected several transactions totaling 556 crore rupees, which have seen unexplained cash being sent abroad by Nirav Modi. In connection with these transactions, the department has approached tax authorities in Bahamas, Singapore, Jersey and Cyprus. It has also asked these authorities for details of various trusts and companies floated by Nirav Modi in these jurisdictions. For instance, sources say the department has asked for more details on several transactions totaling 271 crore rupees. We learned that these involve Nirav Modi's firm Firestar International Private Limited receiving money from Singapore-based Islington International Holdings. Officials say the source of these funds remains suspicious and unexplained. Similarly, the Revenue Department is learned to have uncovered transactions to the tune of 284 crore rupees in which Firestar received funds from Jade Bridge Holdings of Cyprus and Forcom Worldwide Investment Limited of Mauritius. The Revenue Department has also detected several bank accounts with unexplained share transfer transactions. It also suspects, sources say, that Nirav Modi conducted cash sales without reporting these sales either in its financial filings or those done by his group companies. So far, the department has identified such cash sales to the tune of 99 crore rupees and suspects that this number could rise by around 250 crore rupees.
While various investigative wings of the Revenue Department continue to investigate the alleged fraud perpetrated by Nirav Modi, the IT department, on the other hand, is digging deeper to assess the role of other group companies which might be involved in the suspected fraud. That is Gitanjali Gems, Jilly India and their promoter Mehul Choksi. While CNBC TV18 also learns that between the 17th and the 19th of February, the IT department has attached 7 properties belonging to Mehul Choksi and Gitanjali Gems and Jilly India in Mumbai itself. Out of these 7 properties, 4 belongs to Gitanjali Gems, 1 belongs to Jilly India and 2 belong to Mehul Choksi, and all are in Mumbai itself.
The tax department on the 17th of February is also learned to have attached 9 bank accounts that belong to Choksi and his son. These accounts are at various banks and branches across Mumbai. Sources say that while a few of these are dormant accounts, Some have zero balance. The rest include a Geetanjali Gems account with 2.29 crore rupees in it, 2 accounts held by Mehul Choksi with a total balance of around 38 lakh rupees, one in the name of Nakshatra World with a balance of 33.93 lakh rupees, and one in the name of Gili India with a balance of 40.18 lakh rupees. Sources say that more such action can be expected over the course of the next few days as the multiple investigations into the fraud at Punjab National Bank gather steam. With Tim C. Jaipuria in New Delhi, in Mumbai, Arundhati Ramanan.
All right then. Meanwhile, the government, on the other hand, has raised concerns over the RBI's fraud prevention network. In fact, it's written to the central bank asking why the PNB fraud went undetected. We spoke to R.K. Bakshi, the former ED of the Bank of Baroda, on the same. Here's what he had to say.
RBI is a regulator. So naturally, they will ask whether in the regulatory prescription there are any gaps, or was it on the implementation side or on the regulation side? See, regulation is laying down policy. Supervision is seeing to it whether the policy is being followed. So naturally, government will ask whether there are any gaps in the regulation, that means in the policy or in the implementation of that policy. Where are the gaps? So it's not accusation. I think it's just normal exchange of information.
And late last night, the CBI arrested 3 more officials of Punjab National Bank's Brady House branch in Mumbai. The 3 arrested are Bechu Tiwari, the Chief Manager of Forex Department, Yashwant Joshi, Scale 2 Manager also of Forex Department, and Praful Sawant, Scale 1 Officer of Export Department, who was responsible for checking communications on the Swift messaging platform. We understand that these arrested employees will be produced in court today.